it was a very different world. It was a world where you married for money, not for affection, and there were very limited opportunities for women. But it seems that people have found resonances with that as with contemporary society. So it was really to draw those parallels, but to make this world as believable, as true as possible, and to also recover and use the wit that you find and fun that you find in her Jane Austen's novels, and keep that in the film as well. Well, Kate Winslet's was too old because it's when she was 21, and so Kate Winslet was never an option. Well, I think Anne Hathaway's unique in terms of she has a sort of slightly old-fashioned quality, and she's not as contemporary as many American and other actresses. So I sort of always believed that she could pull off this, and also she happened to be a real expert on Jane Austen. She'd written a thesis when she was a student on Jane Austen. She'd read all her books more than once, and she knew far more about Jane Austen than I did. And when I met her and auditioned her, she was very, very committed and ambitious to play the part. And with something like this, it's such a big journey to make. That's a very important part of the process of casting. Yeah, when they heard that, they were appalled. We made the film before Devil Wears Prada, so when the film came out, people didn't really know. People who hadn't read all the journalism weren't 100% sure where she was from, and her accent was so good because she worked very long and hard. People either didn't know she was English or completely wasn't English, or completely forgave the fact that she was American because she absorbed herself so well into the part. And it's always the way with that. I think it was true of Renée Zellweger before she got the part in Bridget Jones, but when she did get it, and she did it very well, and Gwyneth Paltrow as well, nobody really minds as long as they do a good job in the end of the day. Well, I think what her triumph was that she, I mean, the options for women at that time were that they either got married for financial stability or maybe love, but then they usually had 8 or 10 children, and there was always the risk of death in childbirth, or they were a spinster and they risked poverty. Jane Austen, I suppose, as a person, found this middle way. She had some independence towards the end of her life anyway, and she was able to dedicate her life to writing. I mean, the reason in the past people have questioned her feminist credibility, credentials, I suppose, is because her characters are always married off to a rich man, and while that is true, it is very much that the women are at the centre of the stories, and they tend to be calling the shots and tend to have the great insights. And of course, one of the ironies of our film is the contrast between the happiness she gave her characters and the sort of complex, slightly sadder reality of her own life. No, I mean, in a way, the knowledge that people bring to this film probably deepens their enjoyment of it. I don't think you need to know Jane Austen's novels particularly, but it probably helps to get a few of the jokes. And you can recognise how real characters in her life relate to the characters in her novels, so particularly with Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice. So hopefully they all work together. Oh, that one. Well, I mean, the only one remembers at this point is Maggie Smith, who's a very famous English actress, I'm sure you know, and very daunting, slightly frightening character who everyone's was a bit worried about when she came on set, and the first day's filming she was all dressed up in her Lady Gresham outfit, and she had this stuffed bird on her hat, and I think halfway through the first scene this stuffed bird fell off the hat, and everybody didn't know whether to laugh or just, and for a moment there was a long silence, and eventually somebody did laugh, and it was then Maggie laughed, and then everyone was happy, and it meant that there ended up a great relationship between Anne Hathaway and Maggie Smith, which is perhaps not something you may have predicted.